So are you Uncle Sam today?
Yeah, badass Uncle Sam. I don't want to, I don't want to sully the real Uncle Sam's name.
Yeah.
I'm my own version of whatever the hell's going on. But this is my work.
Yeah. This shit's dope.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, I think I didn't take that picture, but I did add those words.
I like it all.
I like the
thank you.
Yeah, me too.
Oh, thank you very much. Thank you.
We need more of that with everything that's going on.
Yeah.
Well, this is when I started doing it. When I was watching the propaganda coming out of here, and the misleading statements of people, like, wait. People getting into their own little internet ghettos and not get. I said, what can I do? What's another way I can reach people?
Yeah.
So, well, I know I'm not going to get published because my work's obviously off the wall.
Yeah.
Art galleries are not going to take me. Just screw it. I'm just going to hit the streets with it. And I've been having a ball.
Yeah.
Because I get to speak to people from around the world, all walks of life, every race, color, creed.
Democrat, Republican pissed.
Yeah.
I love it.
Yeah.
I love it. I feel the same way. Do you have like a card?
Yeah, sure. So, just get out of jail free card from Hillary Clinton on the back there is my YouTube channel. And
that is so funny.
Thank you. Yeah.
That is epic.
Yeah, I film a lot of my encounters out here and interview. I just interviewed a Afghani, a sergeant, a retired sergeant, working in the VA now, and got his take on what's happening in the VA and any changes since Trump got in.
It's a shit show. I volunteer a lot with the VA.
Oh, do you?
Yeah, Fort Worth is actually one of the biggest VA centers in the country, and I volunteer there quite often. And that's usually how I used to get a lot of my volunteer hours in. When I was getting ready to go for college and trying to get scholarships,
right.
I did a lot of stuff with the VA there, and they are very, very left behind. People preach, a lot of people, conservatives preach about military first, vets first, but it's not the case.
Have you been back recently? Have you been doing your work recently?
It's probably been probably 2 years, a little over 2 years since I've been back. Yeah.
So you saw a lot of the bad stuff.
I've seen a lot of bad stuff. Now, granted, I mean, it could have changed by now. A lot could have changed. I doubt it just because of what it takes to change the VA. But
well, that's I'm getting mixed signals.
Yeah.
Increments. Things are being, sort of like one step forward, a step back. And right.
Very
so, and other areas seem to be progressing more than some. And they did sign a deal about speeding up the veterans' payments the other day.
Yeah.
And he also about issuing them a card so they can go to any doctor, which I think is a very good idea.
Oh, yeah, definitely. Because sometimes they'll wait, 3 and 4 weeks just to get a checkup, and then wait another 3 or 4 weeks just to get the surgery.
Exactly.
And then it's a long, drawn out process.
Oh, yeah.
It really
deal.
is. But, it's really, it's a corporation. It's like the biggest socialist thing we have in America is the VA. So,
and it creates its own monster.
Exactly.
Exactly. I ain't going to give up my job.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
Which is the basic whole premise of big government anyway,
100%.
Once it's there, trying to get rid of it is, it's best not to let it get big.
Yeah.
But we shot that one a long time.
Yeah, that's out the door.
Yeah,
that's out the door.
Yeah. So you supported Trump for this election, or
no, I did not. I was
really Team Bernie.
We supported Bernie. So.
Yeah, the problem I have with Bernie though is that, his heart's in the right place, but the methods of getting where he wants to go have never been proven out.
Yeah.
So, it's just, that's more big government.
Yeah.
What we were just railing against, he wanted to make government bigger, which to me, okay, wait a second here. Okay. But the really got me is when he was handed the evidence at the Democratic National Convention, the evidence that the nomination was stolen from him.
Yeah.
Here it is, Bernie. Walk in there and get that nomination because it's yours. And it was.
Yeah.
And he went in and went, but you got to vote for Hillary Clinton.
Yeah. But that's party before country, though. That's the same as what's going on now.
Wait. No excuses here.
Yeah.
He was handed the nomination. Yeah. Here it is, Bernie. It's your. I saw a dozen Bernie parades. I never saw one Clinton. So don't tell me he didn't have the nomination. So he had the people behind him. So to just capitulate, and don't tell me putting this thing in place was, for the betterment of this country or the party.
But the same could be said for the same could be said for all Ted Cruz, for Marco Rubio. All them jumped on board with Trump. They bashed him.
Then why isn't? Because right now there is a major lawsuit against the DNC of Bernie. You know about this one, right?
No, I don't.
I'm not surprised because they don't want this out. This is probably the biggest scandal ever.
So Bernie's suing the DNC.
No, not him. There is a class action lawsuit of Bernie Sanders supporters suing the DNC and Deborah Wasserman Schultz for stealing the nomination from Sanders. Now, Sanders is mum about this. He ain't even backing the people that backed him. 3 people connected with this lawsuit were murdered. They asked for protection from the federal judge. He refused it. In the meantime, Deborah Wasserman Schultz, head of the DNC that had resigned in shame, got booed off the stage at the Democratic National Committee because the WikiLeaks came out and said.
But she came in after Donna Brazile, because Donna Brazile is actually the one who handed it over to Hillary's campaign.
They were both crooked, but understand, Wasserman Schultz in the emails was shown to have helped to mastermind the theft of the nomination. I mean, it was her. Her fingerprints and voice were all over this. I won, all won. You heard that name?
I've heard it, yeah.
All right. Arrested, about a month ago now. He was in charge of all the DNC IT network. He even had Wasserman Schultz's password for her iPhone along with Pelosi's. Pakistani. Apparently, we couldn't find any Americans to overlook the DNC email system, an IT network. So this Pakistani, whose family has already been convicted of fraud, coercion, all kinds of criminal things, right? This guy, over 10 years, gets his entire family from Pakistan working for the DNC that makes $6 million doing part-time work they never showed up for.
Is this on the channel? Because I'd like.
Oh yeah, just look up DNC Wasserman Schultz scandal. I mean, it just came out the other day that they just added 4 more charges of bank fraud. You name it, just made. So this guy, the Alwan brothers, getting paid 4 or 5 times more than a normal person would get paid for this same work, who never showed up for work. Were all fired when came out that they were bank frauding and they were eavesdropping on everybody's emails in the DNC and everything. So everybody got fired. The wife leaves the country with $12,000 in cash, and Alwan gets arrested right after he wires $300,000 to Pakistan at the airport, getting ready to skip town. They go home, go to his room, because he had several houses, some of them rented out, and find government equipment, computers, smashed hard drives.
Exactly.
So they confiscate all this material, and this is what they're going through now. We're looking at espionage. Here's the kicker. Deborah Wasserman Schultz, when all the rest of them were fired, kept on, changed the classification of his work so she could keep on paying him for work he wasn't doing, and even would have been paying him 6 months after he had gone to Pakistan. He would still be getting paid our tax dollars. So they arrested him. He's in jail. They just put 4 new charges on him. Charges against Deborah Wasserman Schultz. We got a pray are coming. So we're looking at.
So let me ask you how you feel about this. How do you feel about Peter Walsh's charges? That was Don Jr.'s assistant, and he just fled the country. Bob Mueller was pressing charges on him. He indicted him.
Please, listen, look, this.
Well, why did he?
Wait, I'm going to give it to you. I'm going to give it to you. I'm going to give it to you. I'm going to give it to you, okay?
Okay.
I'm going to
break it down for me.
I'm going to break this down for you. Because this is what I do, darling. Okay. I see through the bullshit. There are three kinds of people in this world. People that believe the bullshit, the people that see through it, and the ones that spread it. So it's hard to be able to see through this bullshit. The entire Russian narrative was bullshit. You don't hear anything about it now, do you? Because it's been shown. Look, Seth Rich. You know about Seth Rich. Mm-hmm. Murdered DNC guy that was part of the IT network. One of the guys that murdered involved with the DNC scandal case, right? Okay. WikiLeaks comes out. Assange comes out. We've had all kinds of leaks and now coming out saying Russia had nothing to do with CNN gets caught by Project Veritas on a video saying it's all bullshit. We're just doing this for the ratings.
But Anonymous just posted emails of Julian Assange.
Please, again, if you go on a fishing expedition, it's like what they do with almost every other special prosecution case. It'll start out over here looking at this. But then it starts bleeding into everything else.
That's what we hoping for. What we hoping for.
Well, so in other words, this is it. Well, how about I dig into every little thing in your life and find every single.
Anyway.
Oh no! I go and I find some I you didn't dot, T you didn't cross, period you didn't make on some federal document, and go ha ha. And then I prosecute you, because you can prosecute anybody for it. You can prosecute a ham sandwich.
Yeah.
You can keep that pressure up. So, in other words, just because you don't like someone, you're going to go through every single thing in their history. Just keep on turning those pages. Even though the investigation started about Russia, now we're off to some other bullshit. Oh, what about this email thing over here? It's bullshit. You leave them. Look, if you want to go ahead and keep on prosecuting people like that, if you want to use the court systems in that manner, you are no better than a Stalinist. That's what the Stalinists use. That's what tyrants use. They will use the system to destroy you. It's the very thing we started talking about. Big government is big. Anything a government big enough to give you everything is a government big enough to take everything away from you. And his whole thing, and the reason he got in, is because he's talking about we're tearing down big government. It's the same thing Bernie talked about, but of course he was doing it the opposite. I mean, he was talking about going after the big corporations, but making the government the corporations.
But what about him appointing all these corporation heads to his cabinet? I mean, he brought in corporations.
Yes, but listen, if I'm going to go get a shoe made, am I going to go to a carpenter? I'm going to go to somebody that knows how to make shoes. The fact that you go ahead and go get somebody that has, look, I just spoke to Professor Iris Mack out here. Professor Iris Mack, Harvard educated, MIT, recruited by Larry Summers to work on Wall Street with him.
Can I take a picture with these?
She's a professor at Tulane. If you'd like to leave anything in the Bulletproof Vest Fund.
I think you really got to grab it. You got to grab it, yeah.
Great.
Give me some other ideas. But,
what did you say?
And I just appreciated your molecular structure. Ideas.
Well, we'll check you out on the YouTube page, man.
Yeah, you got to get along. I'm telling you, this is the try to tear down. The deep state is what we're up against. It was what Bernie Sanders was up against, and it's what Trump is up against.
It's a whole lot of hoopla.
Enjoy your day.
Stay woke.